If you're watching this video, there's something inside you, a voice that just won't leave you alone. It's telling you there has to be more to your life than this. More than what you see around you, more than what you've created, more than the routine, more than the playing it safe. And you'd be smart to listen to it. Most people don't understand that voice, and far fewer listen to it. Even fewer respond to what it's calling them to do. But by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what that voice is calling you towards, why you've been resisting it, and most importantly, exactly what you need to do about it. And I know this because at the age of 11, I made a crazy request that changed everything. But we'll get to that. I'm Jason Ayers, and for the last decade, I've helped hundreds of people step out of their personal hells and their golden cages into lives that they actually love living. Some were wealthy but miserable. Others were successful but trapped. Some were on the edge of giving up altogether. But here's what they all had in common. They kept hearing the call, just like you're hearing it right now. Now, I didn't always understand this. In fact, I spent years running from my own call. When I was 11, I did something that will probably sound crazy to you. I made a specific request to God. I said, all I want is an extraordinary life. That's it. That's all I ask. I should have been more specific, and I should have been clear about what I didn't want. I just knew that the ordinary world I saw around me, the small town, the limitations, the way so many adults seem to have settled for boring but comfortable lives, and no judgment, but I just knew that that life wasn't for me. What I didn't realize is that when you ask for an extraordinary life, the universe doesn't just hand it to you. It gives you an extraordinary journey so that you can earn it. And that journey, it follows a very specific pattern. Here's what I've learned about that voice inside you, the one that's calling for more. It's not asking you to drop everything and to change your life overnight. It's asking you to begin your own hero's journey. And yes, I said hero's journey, because whether you realize it or not, your life is following the exact same pattern that every great story, every transformation, every extraordinary life has followed for thousands of years. But here's where most people get stuck. They hear the call. Maybe it's to start the next chapter, to start their next business, to leave that relationship that's no longer serving them, to move to that city, to write that book, or to have that difficult conversation. And they do one of two things. First, they ignore it. They turn up the TV, they scroll their phones, they stay busy. They convince themselves that they're being realistic or responsible by continuing to do the same thing they've been doing. Second, they wait for permission. They wait for the perfect moment, for the right resources, for someone else to tell them that it's okay to do what they're being called to do. Both of these are what Joseph Campbell called the refusal of the call. And here's the brutal truth. Every day you refuse the call, a part of you dies. Every day you choose safety over growth, ordinary over extraordinary, you're not just staying the same, you're actually moving backwards. I know this because I did this for years. And even asking for that extraordinary life at 11, I spent my teenage years trying to be invisible. I wanted to be a ghost. Why? Because being seen meant risking rejection, risking failure, risking getting beaten up, or risking being given up on. Sound familiar? Well, here's what changed everything for me and what will change everything for you. The moment you stop waiting for permission and start taking action, any action, towards your call, the universe begins to reorganize itself around you. For me, that moment came when I decided to go to military school when I was 15 years old. Not because my parents wanted me to go, they didn't, but because I knew I needed to cross a threshold. I needed to leave the familiar. I needed to leave the safety of what was familiar so that I could step into the unknown. And here's what nobody tells you about crossing that first threshold. You're not supposed to feel ready. You're not supposed to feel safe. You're supposed to feel like you're jumping off a cliff, because you are. And if you keep feeling the call, that's exactly what you need. Once you cross that threshold, something incredible happens. The journey itself begins to teach you. In my case, going away to military school presented me with a lot of tests and a lot of trials. And many people shy away from life's tests, especially when they're painful or especially where suffering is involved. But here's the key insight that I picked up along the way. The tests you face along your path aren't punishments. They're invitations for you to upgrade. In my case, the tests I faced at military school taught me discipline, but more importantly, they taught me about myself, that if I leaned in and fully committed, I was stronger, more resilient, and a hell of a lot tougher than I thought I was, all of which were useful tools on the road ahead. And it won't be any different for you. Every challenge you encounter on this journey is inviting you to say yes when life asks you, are you ready for the next level? Most people fail these tests by avoiding them. But the ones who succeed, they lean in. They ask, what is this trying to teach me? If this is for me, what does it have for me? Now, I learned this the hard way. I failed calculus when I was going to school to become a chemical engineer. Failed it completely. The class was on page 147 and I was still on page 12, completely confused by a concept. But when I got my grades back, I didn't toss in the towel. I asked, what's the lesson? What is this trying to teach me? It taught me that I wasn't just capable of more than I thought. I was capable of becoming the top student in that same subject, the one I failed. The person who failed calculus and the person who mastered it, same person. The only difference? I had to learn how to swallow my pride and ask for help. You see, I thought I was stupid because I couldn't understand the material on my own. But there's a big difference between stupidity and confusion. Confusion means you don't have all the information you need in the right format for the way that you learn. Now, let me tell you about the moment that changes everything. Campbell called it apotheosis, the moment of divine knowing. For me, it happened in Costa Rica. I was lying on a balcony out under the stars, and suddenly I understood something that shifted my entire perspective. We are not separate from nature. We are nature. We are not separate from the divine intelligence that creates galaxies and that designs the trees to soak up CO2 so that we can have oxygen to breathe, the same oxygen that you're breathing right now. We are that intelligence expressing itself through human form. So your struggles, your questions, your seeming dead ends, they're not evidence of something being wrong with you. They are not curses. They are not cosmic jokes. They're the raw ingredients required to build you. Every one of those difficult experiences was exactly what you needed to become who you were meant to be. Here's what this means for you. Whether you're just getting started or whether you just had a 7, 8, or even 9-figure exit. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're not missing some secret that everyone else has. You haven't just gotten lucky or unlucky. You're exactly where you need to be on your own hero's journey. The question isn't whether you're worthy of an extraordinary life. The question is whether you're willing to become the person who lives one. And that transformation happens through something called integration. I used to think that I had to choose: be successful or be present with my family, be driven or be peaceful, be ambitious or be authentic, help others realize their dreams or realize my own. But mastery isn't about choosing, it's about integrating. I remember making a decision that went against essentially everything I'd been taught about success and how you create success. And that decision was, I chose to be present for my daughters instead of missing out on their childhood while I stacked up chips in the poker game of life. I realized that coffee with a 22-year-old would never make up for not taking her to the park when she was 6. I had to reinvent myself. I had to reinvent everything to make it work. I had to answer the call and then do what was required. I didn't give up on success, but I had to define it based on my own terms, not the terms that the world was giving me. And I had to do that because that voice wouldn't let me find peace until I got quiet, started listening, and started acting. And you know that voice that I'm talking about. When I started listening, it took me on the wildest and most amazing adventures. And here's what I can tell you. True mastery is becoming whole. It's bringing all of your guidance systems online, your body, your mind, your heart, and your spirit. It's being driven and peaceful, successful and grounded, ambitious and fully present. But here's the thing about completing your own hero's journey. You don't just do it for yourself. You climb the mountain, not to stay on top, but to bring the view back down. Every wound you heal becomes wisdom that you can share. Every mistake you make becomes mastery that you can teach. Every dragon that you slay becomes a path that you can show others. Right now, someone needs what you've learned. Someone is facing the same challenges you've already overcome. Someone is standing exactly where you once stood, wondering if their extraordinary life is possible. Here's the thing, your struggles weren't just for you. They were for them too. This is what I call sovereignty. You can navigate both the ordinary world and the extraordinary world. You can be successful in conventional terms while also living according to your own deepest values. You can serve others while building the life that you want. I learned this when I stopped trying to be invisible and started helping people. When I realized that my questioning nature, my refusal to accept traditional solutions that clearly weren't working, my willingness to face difficult truths, they weren't flaws, they were gifts that other people needed. So here's what I want you to understand. Your extraordinary life isn't a destination. It's a direction that you start walking towards. It's not something you achieve. It's something you reveal when you strip away everything that's not you while healing the parts of you that got cut to the bone along the way. It's a commitment to growth, to answering each new call as it comes, to becoming more yourself with every challenge that you face. And it starts with this fundamental question. What is calling you right now? Not the call you think you should have, not the call that would impress other people, the call that won't leave you alone, the one that whispers to you at 3 a.m., the one that makes your heart race and your palms sweat, that you kind of wish you could make go away. That call is not random. It's not a mistake. It's not silly. It's not stupid. It's not impractical. And it's not unrealistic. It's your next threshold, your next upgrade, your next level, your next step towards the extraordinary life that you want. And maybe you didn't ask for it at age 11 like I did, but you're asking for it now by watching this video, by feeling that restlessness, by knowing that there's more. The question isn't whether you'll answer the call. The question is, how much longer will you make it wait? You see, your hero's journey is already underway. It started the moment you first felt that there was more to life than what you've been experiencing. The only question now is whether you'll choose to trust it enough to take the next step. I can tell you that I did, and it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. It has been a wild and amazing ride. If this resonated with you, and if you're ready to stop refusing the call and start answering it, I'd love to hear from you. Click the link in the description to schedule a call or drop a comment below and tell me, what's your call right now? What's the voice inside you asking you to do? And if you want more insights on living an extraordinary life, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because your journey is just beginning. I'll see you in the next video.